writing it in third person, I think is what gave it its depth and its strangeness, and it just made it feel so real to me.
Hello and welcome to the Atticus Review podcast. I'm Trundle and I'm editor at Atticus Review, and we're very excited today to be talking to a writer whose piece we're publishing this week, February 17th, the week of February 17th, 2026. So welcome to Meg Thompson.
Hi, Meg.
Hello. So nice to be here. Thank you so much.
We also have David Olimpio here today, the esteemed publisher and tech wizard behind all things NFT at Atticus Review. And welcome, David.
Hello.
So it's us three, we three, and we're going to get started. We wanted to, today we're really just focusing, we're going to start in with the theme of why you should collect Meg Thompson, because we do think of our current project as a collection process, and the way you collect Meg Thompson is you buy her NFT on our website. When we present an NFT, we accompany it with a newsletter, and we explain to you a little bit about how we found the piece, what we think of the piece. We always love it, or we wouldn't publish it. And today we have the honor and the good luck of being able to talk to Meg about it directly, since it's her piece, The Breadwinner, that's posting this week on Thursday. So why don't we start by talking about The Breadwinner? What was the process with writing it, and how long you've been working on it? Just, just kind of casually, just tell us how it came to be. And we know it's finished because once it's published, as a writer, I actually love when something gets published because then I can finally stop working on it. It's done. Then it's really finished. And even then, I probably still have things I'd like to add. So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Oh, I'd love to start like that. Thank you. So really, I've been writing this piece in my mind for probably 10 years. But I didn't really sit down to write it until about a couple of years ago. And that just was when both of my kids were in school all day. And I had all this time to write. And I really said to myself, okay, there's no excuses anymore. Let's finally do that thing that you've talked about forever. Now you can do it. And so I just did it. And it was really strange at first to be in that world, because I had been a stay-at-home mom for so long. And then when I wasn't anymore, but I was still in that world, but I didn't have a job. And I had applied to the jobs, didn't get any jobs. So I was like, okay, let's just do it. And I just started writing, and I didn't stop. But The Breadwinner was probably the first thing that I wrote. And it came so easily to me because I'd been writing it for so long in my head. And it was probably one of the easiest things I ever wrote, because I wrote it in third person, which meant I didn't mean to keep it that way. I don't normally write a personal essay in third person, and now I can't see it any other way. I don't think if I wrote it in first person, I think it'd be a completely different essay. Mm-hmm. And it was just the distance that I had writing it in third person, I think is what gave it its depth and its strangeness, and it just made it feel so real to me. So I loved the process of writing it.
Well, I think your love and the immediacy of it and the ease of writing it really comes out in the piece. Two questions came up for me from what you just said. I'll start with the topic of the breadwinner, and what you said in the beginning, which is that, you were applying for jobs. Both your children were in full day school, and you had the opportunity to go back to work, and you looked for a job and couldn't find one. And then, so that combined with I think every writer knows that sort of endless, you should be writing, you could be writing, you said you're a writer. If you're not a writer, why aren't you writing?
Yeah.
And so that was sort of also pushing you from a different direction. And then I guess, the question is like, is writing a job, and can you make a living as a job? This is like one of, I mean, as a writer, this is one of the themes of Atticus Review Revamp, which is that, we're doing these NFTs partly to make it easier for writers to get paid and also to just improve the general market, especially for shorter pieces. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, just like is writing a job, or like, do you do it with another job? And does being a writer in some ways make it harder to be a breadwinner? And so you kind of have to marry a breadwinner?
Yes, I know. Those are the very true, real questions. And I always like to be very honest when I talk about this. And the reason that I can write all day in my house is because I have a partner that makes real money. And
real money, not cryptocurrency.
Not like someone has to pay the bills. And for a long time, it was me. Like I was the breadwinner before we had kids, and we switched. And it wasn't a matter of anything. It wasn't politics or feminism or tradition. It was just practicality that I became the stay-at-home mom. And I never thought I would be the person that didn't have I didn't think I'd ever not be the breadwinner. Like I always thought I would have a job and work in some fashion. I didn't know what it would be. And it just didn't, life is like that. Things just happen when you have a family, especially you make decisions for your family, which is weird because I feel like I'm living in it's a very privileged position that I get to have. And I never would have thought that I would have had it before. And so I still do I will still teach, and I do some workshops, and I do a conference here and there, but it's nothing like maybe if I was by myself, if I didn't have kids, that could be a life that I would have, where I wasn't worried about money. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't know how you do it. Yeah. I know some people do it, but I don't know how.
Well, David, this was sort of David's question. So do you have any thoughts on that, David, in terms of just maybe how it relates to our project with NFTs and also just the general plight of artists and writers not making real money real money?
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think, a big reason why you're, it's funny. Something you did made your
and confetti. Celebration.
Woo!
Real money.
Yeah, no, that's what really spoke to me in your piece, reading it. I mean, I related a lot to it. I was in the same position when I was married. I mean, I was the stay-at-home, and my wife made big bucks. And I'll say, even though I don't have kids, and the money is still a problem. So
right.
I just to state the obvious. I mean, I think Atticus Review continued to exist because of a corporate entity,
Sure.
funding.
Yeah. You mean your wife's job?
My wife's job, yeah. I would really be curious how many magazines can actually exist without somebody's spouse backing them. So
I'd be exactly, yeah.
And the fact that a lot of them are folding with the in the colleges is also something interesting. So anyway, that was to me like a really important part of your essay that I really related to and liked. And I kind of wondered, was that hard, culturally for you, like not contributing for a while, and how did you deal with that, I suppose?
I could talk very easily about that. And I've thought about it just so much, and it's bizarre to think about that person that I was 10 years ago and how much of a journey I have gone on. I never really thought I would. But it's another reason why I wrote my essay in third person because I literally think of myself as a different person when I think about who I was before I had kids. So different. And the like pep talks I had to give myself that it was okay that I didn't have a job, which is now I look back at it and I just feel like I feel bad for that person that I had to do that. And I think that's what a lot of parents end up in that space, like, because we still have such a simplistic view of a stay-at-home parent, which is what makes it even more complex because it's not like it's a very rich and fulfilling and crazy and demanding world, more so than any other job I've ever had, one that you can't prepare for. And I feel so, I don't know if I want to say I'm better or anything like that. I think we're on a journey and we get where we are and there's peaks and valleys. So I don't want to say I'm, I don't know, more enlightened or anything, but I am different. I'm a much different person than I used to be. And I look at work in a much different way. And I don't know if I'll ever have. I never thought there'd be a time where I wasn't teaching at a university. And now I can't imagine if I would ever go back and teach at a university again, because it's just so different now.
Is that what your job was? Is that
what I've heard? Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I taught for 12 or so years at different universities around the country.
Before you had kids?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you teach?
English.
So you were literate. So, okay. So you were. So it's not like you went from being like the head of like a health pharmaceutical company to being a writer. Like it was like
No, it's pretty. It's a easy switch in some ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Could I follow up real quick, Boo, before I forget my train of thought? Sorry. On the financial thing too, I wanted to kind of, do you think, because I tend to think that writing should not necessarily be a career. I mean, but I think there's a perception that it should be and that we're entitled to that. And like, I don't know that I agree with that. I think if I had my choice, I wouldn't do it professionally. So, because then it creates all these burdens and stuff. So I kind of was curious if you thought, if you had that option to make writing your career, would you even take that? Would you even do that?
Well, I guess I've always thought of myself as a writer, even like when I was a little kid, like in 5th grade, and it's definitely not your profession then. So I think I see what you mean in that, like, are you saying you see it more as like your lifestyle and like this love that you have, but like I could maybe go get a job in a bakery and have that. For me, it's that whole
thing of like, I don't want to be dictated what I should write or what I want. To me, it's a thing of like, this is what I want to do, and it seems like it creates. Even if you start out as doing it all your own art, it suddenly becomes commandeered by the world.
And I certainly hold it so dear to me, the act of writing, that almost calling it a profession doesn't even I don't know, like it downplays it almost, like which maybe isn't it's not to say that professions can't give us deep joy in our life also. And because I loved teaching, it brought me so much joy, but I still see it as very separate from writing as a career. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because I noticed that you are a poet, that you have, do you have two books of poetry published?
Yes.
So I do also think, speaking to what David's talking about, that if you're a poet, you pretty much know you're never going to make money as a writer. Like if you write fiction, maybe there's a chance you could write something that was picked up by Hollywood and you get to be like, I don't know,
right,
like Wicked or something.
Yes.
But
right.
But with poets, I feel like if you start out as a poet in your heart, you know that you're headed off to like rags, not riches.
Right.
So
Hmm.
so tell us a little bit about, your arc as a writer. You said you started writing in fifth grade. Can you just give us like a quick,
Hmm.
like a
Yeah.
journey through Meg Thompson's life as a writer up till now?
Oh,
In
love
40
to.
in 40 words or
Yeah,
less.
I could do that. Well, that's what I always say, that poetry was my first love because it's just how I started writing. And it's what I studied for a very long time. And I really never thought I'd write any prose at all. It felt very strange to me to write prose. And maybe that's where part of this idea comes from, that I don't see it as a place to make big money, because that's just like, so the idea of that being a poet isn't, just doesn't,
Right.
would never match up. And that's like the beauty of it. Like it's such a pure art. Like that's what I love about, you can't sell out even if you try in poetry. So it's just so pure to me and I love it. And I really think of everything I write, I still keep that musical ear in what I just love language so much. And that's always what's at the forefront of everything I write. It's the language over, which is probably why I thought I could never write prose, because plot and like characters and things like that just don't always, can't get those to make sense always. So how I started writing essays is, I don't even really know. I actually can't give a good answer. But now I write essays almost more than poetry.
I feel like a lot of poets
I think they're
segue
well
into,
combined, those
yeah.
two things. Yeah.
It makes they make sense, and I love lyrical essays, and I love illustrated memoirs, and I love anything with musical language, which is what novels are too. But I'm really drawn to just what language can make us experience, and I forget all the time that like plot matters a lot to people, because it doesn't. It
Well,
doesn't matter to me.
it was interesting when I was editing the breadwinner. We went through the first round, and then in the second round of edits, I realized I was changing facts. I was like, well, I don't really like it that the mother-in-law comes. It doesn't feel like the mother-in-law lives in the same town. So let's just get rid of the mother. You don't have a mother, whatever. And I forgot it was nonfiction, because I'm a fiction writer. So when I have a
Yeah, yeah.
problem, if I have some kind of problem, I just get rid of that character. I
Get
just,
him out of there. Yeah.
so there was something about like being like deeply immersed in the breadwinner that the genre kind of disappeared in a way. For me, it was really the experience of
Yeah.
that kind of identity, the isolation of mothering, like the sort of
Yeah.
the craziness of what the kids say, and
Yes.
the like just and so then I'm just going to bring it back to this concept of like why you should collect Meg Thompson. I feel like if I were a collector, and this is something Dave and I are moving toward, like with Atticus, the technology is not really there yet to be a collector, but that's the way we see it, that eventually there will be like a gallery where you can have your pieces, and like I'll have my own wallet where I will have where I will collect the breadwinner by Meg Thompson,
Hmm.
and if I were gonna collect the breadwinner, for me personally, it would be I'm very drawn to the language. I'm drawn to the way you put it all together, and I'm also drawn to the inner world of the mother. And I would also collect it because it speaks to an experience that resonates with my experience. My kids are a lot older. My son is 19 and my daughter's 22. But, I was there, a long
You
time ago
were.
now. It was over
Yeah.
a decade
Yeah.
ago, but I was there. So I find it
Yeah.
very valuable as a sort of, I'm not going to say it's like a feminist piece, but it's a very true, very emotionally true chronicle of being a mom of young children. And I don't think there's like ever going to be too many of those, because if another mom comes along and just collects that NFT and reads it and has it in her wallet, it could be supportive. So David, I'm just like gonna pitch it to you now. As this theme of like why you should collect the breadwinner. Like, can you talk a little bit about how that would work in the future? Maybe like what a collection would look like, and how that would work. I think you understand it better than I do, and like why that
Well, you kind
technology is
of,
not here now.
yeah, you kind of touched on it, but to me, what I see, and I'm appreciative of, people like you, Meg, who are willing to kind of go out on a limb with us. Because, I mean, I did this for 5 years in the kind of more traditional way of like um, putting pieces online. And as a web developer, I kind of have always had this hang up with the fact that people don't perceive digital things as something they can have.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and that makes sense why, but now the technology, now there's ways that you kind of can. And I don't think people are really wrapping their heads around what it means yet. I think it's getting wrapped up in a lot of political talk and stuff. But I think
What you
that,
mean, like Bitcoin and
yeah,
crypto?
just
Okay.
blockchain in general can, the fact that it consumes a lot of energy, I know is a big hang up. And
Yeah, but how come
um,
people don't seem to have the
but
same hang up with AI? Like AI takes up a lot
well, they
of
do,
energy. Well, there's some, but they're not. It's not stopping
but
it from exploding. Like it's not stopping
yeah.
people from investing in it. Like
I
Well,
know.
and my point too with the blockchain is the banking industry, our traditional banking industry takes up a ton of energy and much
right.
more
Yeah.
than, and like,
Everything we does, like eating
yeah,
red meat doesn't, right?
yeah.
It's everywhere.
And
Yeah.
I think the tradition, it could be that this gets consumed by the traditional banking industry and it becomes the same thing in a different costume. But I mean, there's a very indie spirit, I think, to the sort of crypto blockchain world where people who see this vision of not having a middleman, not needing to go through Visa or MasterCard or someplace to make a purchase, like people are really embracing that concept. So, so yeah, to get back to Boo's sort of question, to me, what I see is sort of an unfettered way to have these assets. They're digital assets, which is a very
Hmm.
non-sexy term, but like this is, it's like having a book online, really, and somebody
Yeah.
can buy that book. But instead of mass producing for, which this is something I think Boo really has talked about, and I and appreciates, is we're, instead of having to be a bestseller and sell hundreds and or millions of copies, it's more about like sort of the way the art world works, and you can sort of like collect like this artifact of. So I eventually see what I would love is, it's just that it's super expensive right now to build this type of thing, but I would love for sort of Atticus Review to become a marketplace where people can sort of collect, trade, and I think these words are probably words that a lot of artists and writers are like, what? I don't want a marketplace, but I mean, it's not a big bad thing.
Be like a flea
It's just the
market.
way
Everybody
the
loves a
real, it's
Yeah.
just, I know, it's just
Everybody
the way
loves
the
a flea
world works.
market.
I
Yeah, a
mean,
food market. You have to have a market.
if
Markets
you
are
go
not
to
bad.
AWP,
Right.
everybody's selling their books at a
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just, it's kind of the same thing. But
It is.
anyway, so that's kind of what we're trying to, but yeah, but right now there's just nobody's has a wallet, nobody knows how
Right.
to do this. There's just
Meg
a
has
lot
a
of
wallet now.
technical,
I
well,
got
yeah,
my wallet. I get it.
All of our writers have to have wallets, and
Hmm.
that's so we're kind of
Yeah.
also functioning as a bit of a educational like clearinghouse for new NFT owners.
It is.
So
It's
yeah,
cool.
so if we did have like I guess at AWP they call it a book fair instead of a book market, so maybe we should just call it a fair. But if we had
mm,
Hmm.
like let's say like Meg, let's say we had a page like some in the future somebody has like a little personal gallery and it's called Amazing Things I've Read About Being a Mom. Like and Meg Thompson's NFT from Atticus is in that wallet. Like what else would you see there on that little shelf? Like
mm.
books, like things that if you've read or poems or books that inspire you about the identity of motherhood. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Oh, you're asking me what books I've read about?
Well, no, I mean, if there's anything that anything it doesn't even have to be about motherhood, but like, what would you, like, if you were going to have a wallet, like with the breadwinner in it,
Hmm.
and then it would be
Hmm.
like what things that remind you of it or that you feel would be connected to it, even for like our collectors who are listening, who are, like back to our theme, why you should collect the breadwinner. Like, what would you see in
Hmm.
that wallet? Like things that are maybe associated in your mind, like essays or books or whatever.
Oh,
Even an
okay. Well, I
individual
can,
poem, because individual poems can
yes.
be collected in our universe.
Oh, well, I love that idea. I can't, I can definitely think of the books that I was reading while I was writing this, The Breadwinner, that really helped me, really brought me to it. Oh gosh, like All Fours by Miranda July, which is an incredible book that I influenced me heavily when I was reading it, and I loved. I just read um, Dear Girls by Ali Wong, which was so funny, and I love her and everything that she does. And there's been so many memoirs, so many books of essays that I've read about motherhood, but a really good one was oh God, what was it called? Mothers and Other Fictional Characters. It was a book of essays by Nicole Grave Lipsum.
Mm,
There's so many, and I love that art about motherhood has really taken charge recently. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
some people will always view it in a simplistic way, but we can't let that voice bother us too much. And like the way I think it's done really well recently in literature. Like I think it's taken on a bit of a new voice, and like writers are really, I don't know, finding their own with it.
mhm.
What about poems and poetry? Are there any poets that you are particularly inspired by, or even in the past, or like?
Yeah, I'm always curious,
Oh, there's definitely a lot.
what did you like in like to me, like I always go back to
Um,
what I liked in college.
yeah,
I feel like that's a
I
very
read
seminal period of your life, and like
it.
it
It
continues.
definitely
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I remember really being blown away by when I first read Sharon Olds
Mm,
and what she said about motherhood, and even Denise Duhamel they were both very important to me. And I thought, like, oh wow, she can be so funny in a poem. Like I'm just enamored by writers that can be really funny and really serious in a poem, in anything. That's my whenever I write, like that's my goal is to be like not funny all the time. You can't do it constantly, but like a little bit of funny placed throughout a piece. Like I love it. It's my favorite thing.
Well, you
dude.
pulled it off yourself because your
Yeah.
essay made me laugh. There's some
Thank
very
you.
very funny jokes. Some of the funniest jokes are just your children mispronouncing things or having a confusion about language. So, all right. Well,
Oh, I
that
know.
those are tough questions. I really, as I was asking them, I don't like it when people ask me, what books or on what's on your bedside table, and I'm like,
It's hard.
ah! I'm like, I've never read a book in my life. I don't know what a book is even. So you
I
did very
know. I
well with
always
that.
remember them later. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Later,
oh,
I'm like,
I should
oh,
have
my
said,
favorite writer.
It's
yeah,
a great book. I sound so
yeah,
smart if I say that.
Oh, you
Yeah, I
actually did
know.
very well, and I felt bad for putting you on
Oh,
the
yeah.
thank
spot,
you.
but well done.
Oh, it's not. It's mostly actually children's books that I read
Yeah,
because I
I
read to my
know.
Mm,
kids every night, which
Yeah.
are great. Like they love graphic novels and they're amazing. So I mean,
Yeah.
I do read for myself, but top of mind, I tend to think about like what I'm reading with my kids.
Yeah, those are I actually can't get rid of those books. I have a bunch of boxes of books
Oh,
of kids books that I'll just keep until I don't know
I,
when. I can't get rid of
I
them.
know.
So.
I feel like I feel the same way.
So what about other things you're writing right now? Like what's on your desk now that you're publishing The Breadwinner and you have
Hmm.
an empty spot on your desk, you can no longer edit and work on that. What's on
I
your desk?
know. I know. I'll miss it actually. But I do have to move on, and I'm actually working on I have a slew of essays that I'm trying to push together into some type of collection on motherhood. And I've just been writing them for years, and I really thought The Breadwinner was going to be part of that, but I don't think it is. I think that's something else. It actually ended
Mm.
up being the last chapter in a novella that I
Mm.
sent out into the world with
Mm.
high hopes.
Oh, a novella.
Um,
Oh, so the breadwinner was the last. So it does have a fictional life separate
it
from
does.
nonfiction. Okay, so I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy, not at all.
I
It's
am
written
crazy.
in
No, I
cartoon
am
styles.
crazy, but not for that reason. Okay.
No, not at all.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. That's really interesting. So you had it like
it's
and then what happened with that novella? What was the novella called?
well, it's called The Breadwinner.
Okay.
Mm.
So it's just ended up, I wasn't really sure what I would do with it for a long
Mm-hmm.
time. I just
Mm-hmm.
kept writing it and writing it, and that's just where it ended
So
up. I
you're
have
saying
a
there's like another like I think this is like 17 pages. So you're saying there's like another like 80, 90 pages that comes before this. This is really piquing my
yes,
curiosity.
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah. Well,
Interesting. Is
it's
it also
strange,
non-linear? Is it non-linear like the
very,
story? Mm-hmm.
and it's
Interesting.
a lot of different identities. It's mostly like really experimental stuff that doesn't fit anywhere else, and so I just kind of jammed it all together and hope it's about this quest for identity, right? Like trying to figure out who we
Yeah,
are, and you don't know who
I
you
love what you just said. Like
are.
you just like jammed it all together and
that's
hope somebody would like,
that's
understand it. That's how I write too. That's like,
oh, okay, good. Well, you're the
eventually
editor, so
somebody will.
hopefully
Yes, eventually somebody will understand this thing, or not.
well, I'm great. Yeah, right, right,
But it's
exactly.
the
I have many of
process.
those that
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, it sounds like you're really like
So
on that you're getting a lot of writing done, and it's really great
I am.
to jump on Zoom with you. Like I didn't, like I said, I mean, I'm trying to think about this introduction or this presentation of the NFT on Thursday. It's going to be
Hmm.
illustrated by Adriana Kerzada. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I
Okay.
will definitely get that pronunciation down in the
Yeah.
future. But she's does these beautiful drawings, and they're ready to go. And I don't know if have any more questions. I might email you some questions, but
Okay. Yeah.
I think that we have a good idea of who you are, what you're after. I mean, I am a little like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really excited that there's a novella that this is the end of a novella that's actually fiction, and it's actually we're presenting it as nonfiction,
Yeah.
and then there's also a whole
Hmm.
slew of essays out there that you're working on about
Yeah.
motherhood and identity. It
Yes.
just sounds like you're like prime and ripe and at it, and just the kind of writer we
Hmm.
want to like help
I
by
am.
getting this NFT out there. So I'm really glad we connected through the open submission process.
Me too. And remind me where
I
you're
am too.
or where you're based. It's California, right?
I'm in.
Or did I
Oh,
get that
me?
wrong? Yeah.
No, I'm
Oh,
I'm in Ohio.
oh.
Yeah.
I guess, am I thinking of Adriana? I
No,
maybe
but thank
I
you.
got used
Maybe
to,
no.
yeah, sorry. Okay,
It's
Ohio.
okay. I'm very Midwestern. That's yeah.
You're like, who, me? California?
What? No,
Surely you have me mixed up with
I'm
somebody else. Yeah.
And have you always lived there, or are you from there?
in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've lived other places, but this is where we are now. Yeah.
yeah.
Like close to Cleveland.
Okay.
I mean, I guess maybe we should just like close out with a little tiny conversation about bread because the
I would
breadwinner
love to.
is about it is a pun and a double entendre about the
Yeah.
breadwinner, but the act and I don't want to give the
Hmm.
story. Well, I don't want to give the story away. So why don't you just talk a little bit about your relationship as like cooking and bread making and how that plays in with your writing,
Hmm.
and then that will be then we without
Hmm.
giving away the
Hmm.
nonlinear plot of the
Right.
fiction
I
nonfiction.
won't give away that sentence. Yeah. Well, I'll try to keep it short, but I could talk about bread for a long time and how much I love it. Uh, but in truth, it's very new to me. I never ever baked anything in my life. I was not a cook. I like ate macaroni and cheese until I was like 28, and that was fine for me. But then when the pandemic happened, I just like, okay, I'm going to start making sourdough bread like everyone else. And I got so obsessed with it also, like everyone else. And I thought by now I might have gotten sick of it, but I haven't. I'm still just as obsessed. I just made some this morning, and there's something really, I think it helps my very obsessive mind to have something else to obsess over when I'm not writing something, because it's a really, like, bakers, especially bread bakers, I think we are very, very into bread baking. Like it's a, I don't even know if it's healthy. Like some people have it could be, you could, if you called it an addiction, I don't think I'd argue with you.
Okay.
But it makes my house smell really good, and my kids like it, and I don't buy store-bought bread. So that's the upside.
Well, there's one paragraph where you described like a piece of sourdough bread and like with, I don't know, something on it, and butter, fresh butter and salt, and I got obsessed with it. Just reading it made me so hungry. And like, and then I just don't, and there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between fresh baked bread and store-bought bread. Which could be like a whole nother conversation, just like in terms of what we've, capitalism and all of that, but packaging and back to the book fair and the book marketplace. But I think we should we should probably close. Do you have any closing comments, David? Do you want to say before we end the podcast?
Just thank you, and we're really excited to publish this, and thanks for working on it and sort of I guess workshopping it in a way.
Of course.
But
yeah.
I meant to ask you if you had workshopped it before this now, or
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I have
you do
I have a writers group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I brought it to them, and actually they helped me with it tremendously. Like before that, I had submitted it to a lot of places, but it was in a very weird place. It was too weird. And I brought it to them. They helped me. And then I sent it to you guys, and you picked it up. And I think that it just landed in the right place.
Cool.
Great.
Well,
we feel the same
thank
way.
you for letting us, publish it. And
of course.
we're excited.
Of course.
So.
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
All right. Well, I can't wait to read the novella and
and
see the major motion picture.
Of course.
All right. Well, thanks, Meg.
There actually is a movie called The Breadwinner coming out.
Oh, there is?
Really?
As luck would have it? Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Can you believe it? Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
That's good to know.
You're welcome.
That could get us some web traffic, actually, by mistake.
Oh, yeah. I'm rethinking this whole thing of why you should collect the Breadwinner.
Yeah,
we're just going to piggyback.
Right.
Yeah, it's actually a Liam Neeson movie.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Right.
All right.
It's like a hostage. They're holding somebody hostage.
A loaf of bread.
Right. Oh, God.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and it will be up on Thursday. So.
It was so much fun.